Hello one and all, Ryker here, and today I have another build for you. But first, before we get into that, I want to say thank you to all the people who watched my Artificer build, and to the person who asked me why I'm not running this or running that. I do apologize in the video that I made after that. I was tired, I was grumpy. It was a very long day, and at the time of this recording, that video has gotten 1.3 thousand viewers. That is the most this channel has ever gotten in such a short period of time. So, as the editor, I thank you. To all those trolls and haters out there as well, I don't like you. I will delete your comment. Take that as you will, and I'll also report you. I can do that. By the way, to the hardcore fan base of this game, this is for the clan that I play with. It's not the most efficient stuff in the world, but it gets you to where you need to be in the world for you to actually progress even farther, to start grinding gear sets. This is the main thing for these builds. They're not the best, they're not the worst. They're effective, to say the least. I'm not going to put up a video that says this build destroys the entire game, or this is the most efficient build and out heals everything. I'm not here for that. I'm not here to make clickbait videos. I'm here to give you builds that work. If you're looking for breaking builds, go look somewhere else. I don't care. Now to those who voted in Discord, I posted up 3 builds that I have left that are complete yellow builds. So today we're going over the Demolitionist. And as before, we're going to go over the Specialization, and then we're going to get into the exotics, and then we'll get into the gear. So let's get into the Specialization. You're going to go with Demolitionist. Now, I'm not going to get into everything, but I will get into the perks and what you're mainly going to be running. So, explosive ordnance, 10% increased explosive damage, artifacts, explosive grenades, skills, and effects. Incombustible increases burn resistance by 20%. And then there's a stimulant patch. Armor kits repair 100% damage and boosts weapon handling by 30% for 15 seconds. Then if we go down here, I have this set for my rifle, my assault rifle, and for SMGs. But it's really your preference. Then you have the small laser pointer. This helps with tagging enemies. You have your how dare you walk in front of me? You have your handgun, which is the Dichro Special, I believe it's called. And then we'll get into these perks over here. Demolitionist Tactical Link. Group members gain 5% damage to targets out of cover. Braced for impact. Ignore explosions. Can only trigger once every 60 seconds. This is handy. I know this for a fact. Vital protection, 50% pulse resistance. And then crisis response. When armor is reduced to 0, refills all main weapon clip ammo. So also very useful. Then there's also that's just the uniform. That's just cosmetic. But then you have this artillery. The artillery turret launches ordnance at nearby target locations. And then you get the Cyclone magazine, and then you get the Shade CPU V.2. So let's go down to the range. Now that we're at the range, let's take a look at our gear. We'll start with the one exotic that I have on, because there's not really many exotics that will really help with this build's explosive potential, but it will get you started. And keep in mind, this is also not maxed out. I am a returning player, and I have been gone for a very long time. So I put on here the capacitor, like I did in my Artificer build, and then I put on this backpack, the Memento. I have 15% weapon damage, maxed out armor, and the skill tier. That is the main eye draw of this backpack. It has one of everything. The only time where you want rainbow. And then there's its perk, Killed Confirm. And enemies you kill drop a trophy on death. Collecting trophies provides both a short and long-term buff, the first of which scales with the number of core attributes equipped and lasts 10 seconds. So with this build, it's mainly plus 5% skill efficiency. For every trophy collected, gain an additional plus 1% weapon damage, plus 1% skill efficiency, and plus 0.1 armor regeneration for 300 seconds. Maximum stack is 30. We already gone over the capacitor. We already gone over the guns that have in sync. This one is actually perfect in sync. 20% skill damage for 5 seconds when you hit an enemy. And when you hit an enemy with your skill, you gain 20% weapon damage. Both attributes are doubled if you have both buffs at the same time. So that's basically 40% weapon and skill damage right there. Again, I'm going with the TDR card custom because also it has in sync as well. Now let's get into the gear pieces. You're going to go with China Light, 2 out of 3. 15% explosive damage and 20% skill haste. And I also went with skill haste and skill damage. That is all of your gear is going to have. It's skill damage, skill haste. That's all you need. And the other one here is Wyvernware. 8% skill damage. You really don't need the other two, which is why you only have one. And then we have a Hannah U, skill haste and skill damage, both 10%. Now we're going to go over the chest piece perk. I've looked everywhere. There's not really any chest piece perks that really help with explosive damage of your skills. So I went with Glass Cannon. So Glass Cannon, all damage you deal is amplified by 25%. All damage you take is amplified by 50%. You will go down. It hurts a lot when you get hit. In terms of skill, it's going to be quite different from the other video that I showed you with my Artificer build where, you know, I'm pretty locked on the Artificer Hive itself with the turret. This one is a lot more open to everybody. My personal favorite is the Sticky Bomb explosive variant with the artillery turret. However, you don't have to go that route. So I will tell you all skills that are good with this build. There's the drone because of the bombardier. These drops bombs on a specific location that you've tagged. Then there's the seeker mine, both the explosive seeker mine and the cluster mines. They're quite a nuisance, but the only reason why I don't use them as much is because like half the time that I use them, the enemies see them and just dodge out of the way, so I don't use them all that much. The turret, the artillery turret, like I said before, this does a lot of damage. The Firefly, there are 2 variants. One is more strategic than the other. So I will go over the burster first. The burster, you lock onto enemies and then you release it and it tags all enemies, and then after a short duration it explodes. So the burster Firefly attaches an explosive charge to a target, then detonates if 2 are in close proximity. So you have to make sure that these enemies are grouped up. And then there's the Demolisher. Demolisher Firefly damages or destroys enemy weak points, skill proxies, and environmental explosives. So this is good for weak point damage because look at that damage. That is 9 million damage. 9 million. Then there's the trap. It has the shrapnel, and this is more for a status effects type thing, but this is an option. And then there's the sticky bomb explosive variant. So this does almost 5 million damage. And that's all the skills at their base damage. Like your damage will increase once you get the capacitor or in sync to start working. Then you will start doing more and more damage. It's insane what you can do. I would recommend though that if you do go artillery, don't use it indoors. It's bad. I've downed myself many a time because of it. So let's go to the range and I'll show you what this thing is capable of. I am going to do some slow-mo shots as well because the initial explosive damage goes by very quick. That was the sticky bomb. And that was the artillery turret. Anyway, that was my Demolitionist build. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you would suggest running. Constructive criticism is always accepted in the comments. I don't appreciate trolls or just haters or people who just think it sucks. Constructive criticism only. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is Ryker telling you to have a good day and good night.